भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Om. Just give me a minute, please. Last time we were discussing about bhakti. There are primarily there is one objective of so-called bhakti is to discover a bhakta in me. Who is a bhakta? Coming back to this thing, there are three objectives. One, to discover the fundamental relation, to own it up with the creator and I the created, and later on discover that there are not two things but actually one manifesting as two. The same Ishvara is me, manifesting as me later on. Another objective also is validated in our tradition. Our Shastra accepts that you seek the Lord for some help. I find myself a desiring person, and to desire is a privilege. Other than human being, no one desires. And there are two types of desires. One wherein I want something more, and the second, I don't accept what I have, I want to change. In the present thing, I want to get rid of certain. These urge one has, they are called artaha and artharthinaha. Artaha means in difficulties comes to the Lord. Artharthi, out of want, out of ambition, out of desire, seeks the Lord. Both are validated. Bhagavan says they are udara. That you seek Lord in your need, it shows that there is some punya. You have done some good karmas where you have come to Him and He will help. The reason behind is, whenever I want something, or I want to get rid of something, often I find myself helpless. Often I find myself limited. In those situations, when I find myself to be limited, wanting in terms of resources, in terms of capabilities, etc., I seek help from the Lord. I seek His support. It is one thing that I keep on lamenting or blaming my luck or complaining about the situation and feel helpless, feel wretched. And it is second thing that I help myself. What do I mean by help myself? I help myself with prayers. I cannot afford to be helpless, feel helpless all the time. This sense of helplessness sometimes paralyzes the person. This sense of helplessness for wanting something or for wanting to get rid of something creates sometimes psychological problems. It is intelligent to seek help when the help is available and when I am helpless. We often do this. When I am sick, I don't know what to do, I go to a doctor. Of course, modern days, people go to WhatsApp messages and they seek help from Google also. Nowadays, doctor tell me, in one of the doctor's clinic in India, it is mentioned, there is a board. Should you have ever consulted Dr. Google for a medicine, don't come here. Seek the help from Google only. You seek help. To pay some tax, I seek help from a chartered accountant. To address some legal issues, I seek help from a lawyer. The one who can help me in everything is Ishvara, who is Sarvagna Sarvashaktiman, omniscient, omnipotent. So I seek help. That is also validated. And as I said, bhakti is to discover love, to discover surrender. When there is love, there is surrender. And when there is love, there is oneness. So, ultimate bhakti is, I love Ishvara. And how much I love Him? I love Him as myself. I love Ishvara as love is complete, ananya rupascha. Now, those who have discovered love, that love expresses in certain forms, and in our tradition, certain forms are given to us through which you can invoke love. Those forms are at physical level, at verbal level, and at mental level. Physical level, there are number of forms. One, you can say yajna yagadis, rituals. Yatra is also physical form, and elaborate puja or a short puja is also one kind of physical forms that helps one to discover a devotee within himself, to discover a devotee that is fundamental relationship with the Ishvara. There is a Vakya we said, Uttama Kramat, Kayavang Manaha, Karyamuttamam, Pujanam Japash, Chintanam Kramat. This is in order that is to be done. Why? When the mind is restless, mind wants activity, rajas. When mind is too gross to appreciate the Ishvara, it is better to perform physical karmas by which I can discover the connection with the Lord. Physical actions like rituals, puja, tirthayatra, etc. involves lot of activity, physical worship. And because pre and post, before you start that ritual, also you have to do so many things. After you finish the ritual, also you have to do so many things. But they are all called sajatiya karma. The type of actions is different. They are varied, but then they are all centered on Ishvara. And therefore, since it is done for Ishvara, it becomes bhakti. Any karma performed in the awareness of Ishvara as an offering to Ishvara, out of love for Ishvara, it becomes bhakti. Like puja can be so elaborately done, and as I told you last time, the basic principle behind puja is inviting the most revered, most beloved, most respected person to your home. What all you do for that, you do for that thing. So there are 16 steps. Avahanam, Dhyanam, Asanam, Padhyam, Argyam, Achamaniyam, then Snanam, then Alankaram, Vastram, etc. right up to Karpurarti. It can be further elaborated. I've seen people doing that when the puja room, they may have servants, but they clean by themselves. The flowers that they need for the Lord, there may be servant doing all the daily chore of the home and the cook cooking the things and everything, driver, shopper, all, but they pluck flowers by themselves. They make garland for the Lord by themselves. They prepare the food, the naivedyam that is to be offered, they do it by themselves. And there are certain maryadas, certain rules, they say. While cooking, I keep chanting this shloka for Bhagavan. I keep chanting this mantra for Bhagavan. And then I cook. Even when they offer clothes, they can have a tailor in India or can ready-made, but then they make it by themselves. They get the yarn, they get the piece of cloth and they stitch it by themselves as a dress for the Lord. So it can be further elaborated or it can be shortened. You can perform, as I said, of the 16 steps and those satellite karmas. You can clean puja room by yourself. You can cook food by yourself. So there are some temples and there are some sampradayas. They tell devotees that whatever you want to offer to Lord, you have to cook by yourself. Don't buy the things from the market and give. Cook it yourself. They do it. Or they elaborate one step. Like in Krishna temple, it is said, Alankara Priyo Vishnu. There is one darshanam. They keep on decorating Ishvara almost for 45 minutes, 1 hour, sometimes 1.5 hours. Varieties of garlands, clothes, and few things to be worn here, there, and the mukutan, etc. It goes on. Or bathing. You can elaborate that part like offering 11 dravya abhisheka. So many by you give bath to the Lord by milk and butter, curds and the honey and the oil and so many things mentioned in the Shastra. You can perform archana, offering the flowers by just 16 names, 32 names, 54 names, 108 names, or 1008. And you need not do all the 16 steps. One has a choice to perform only 5 steps. It is called Panchopachara Puja. Important is not how many steps or how much elaborate you do. Important is to what extent you can connect to the Lord. To what extent you perform that karma in the awareness of Ishvara. You know, there may be some deficiency, but if there is a devotion, that devotion can overcome all the deficiencies. So we have nth number of stories of devotees offering all kinds of things to Ishvara, sometimes not sanctioned by the Shastra also. And you see, if you go to Vrindavan, etc., those devotees argue with the Lord. They take him as a live person. They treat him as a family member. There is a genuine love for Ishvara. They talk to Ishvara, the Krishna or Lala or whatever. So that talking, so-called impropriety sometimes, some omissions and commissions are taken care of when there is a devotion. Remember, devotion means love for them. Devotion means I live in the awareness of Ishvara. I see myself all the time as a devotee of Ishvara. And all other roles of a husband or a father or a mother or a wife or sister, etc., are incidental. I am devotee first. And that attitude is there all the time. When you live in the awareness of that Ishvara, then the deficiencies are taken care of by Bhava. Therefore, in Gujarati they say, Bhagavan to bhavno bhukhyo. God is hungry of simply Bhava. And again, there are stories where because filled with Bhava, Lord had excused the person. Whatever the person said or whatever the person did was excused because it was done with Bhava. Because it was done with proper attitude, and that is why that person was exempted. Not only a story, but we have a famous this temple of Dakor here in Gujarat, and where the Lord stayed there. The Vigraha, the Murti or the idol in the Dakor temple originally belongs to Dwarika. And a devotee who was staunch devotee or had a tremendous bhava for Ishvara, all the time, every Purnima going, he was going to Dwarika, and when he aged, he requested Lord to come to him. He said, I can no more come here. You please come back to where I live. And that's how the Lord has come there. And all omissions for bringing the Lord were overtaken by his attitude of devotion. So, important is that we have a proper bhava. We have a proper attitude. We have a proper surrender. If not, still you do. As Swamiji was telling, fake it and make it. Keep doing it and thereby develop an association. Out of association, develop love for the Lord. And out of that love, you own up the whole process. That is how you fake it and make it. It is uttama krama. They are effective if they are performed in order. As I said, this physical activity, japa, tirtha, puja, etc., involves lots of organs, lots of physical involvement. Over a period of time, when the mind is quiet, becomes free relatively from Rajoguna, then you shift to verbal activity. Kai ja. More quiet in a it doesn't require any support, doesn't require any activity to relate to Ishvara. It can remain in the awareness of Ishvara. Then you do mental activity. And in the mental activity also, ultimate is dhyanam, right? What we call it, I'll see it later. That meditation becomes efficacious if you are ready when the mind is relatively preparedness is necessary for meditation. It is active only mind is free from restlessness. You can force the body to meditation. You can never force the mind to meditation. Meditation should be something where you are not to force the mind. It should just glide into it. The beautiful simile it is given here. Ajya dharaya srota sasana. We'll see that part also later. One can will the body to meditate. You cannot will the mind to meditate. Even Arjuna, the so-called the greatest archer, whose stories we studied in school about his concentration mind, that Arjuna also complains to Chanchalam hi manak Krishna, Ramathi balavardhidam. Mind is restless. So, even japa, if mind is not ready, often becomes mechanical. And if mind is not ready, you force it, it becomes tensed and stressed out. So, the scaffoldings of yatra, yajna, puja are given. That idea is that you connect to Ishvara and discover a devotee within you. In other words, live during that period in awareness of Ishvara, discover the love for Ishvara, and when there is love, as I have said, there is surrender. Please understand, love, surrender, and oneness, there are synonyms. More you love a person, more close you feel the person, and more you are willing to do anything for that beloved. So these are synonyms. When you have surrender, that means you have love. And when you have love, that means you have proximity. That means you live in the awareness of Ishvara. So, even it is also possible that you perform puja mechanically and mind wanders all over the world. But still, in that case, you bring back the mind and restart. Now, here one more thing. Before we go to Vachika Karma, there are Kaya Vang Manak Karyamuttamam, Ujanam Japas Chintanam Kramat, Uttamaskavad Uchamandataha Chittajam Japa Karyamuttam. That we'll see that later. The question comes, which Lord or which form of the Lord should I worship and how do I worship? Unfortunately, there is a lot of confusion quite across India and abroad. People claim that my Lord or the stotra or puja that I do is more powerful than anything else. I've seen some acharyas insisting that one should do only this stotra. One should have only this worship of the God. Therefore, there is a verse, Jagata Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam. Look at the verse. Ishtamurti Brod Deva Pujanam. I have discussed this earlier. Where is Lord? There are only two possibilities. He can be inside the creation, or he can be outside the creation. And both possibilities are impossible. To say that Lord is inside the creation, that means the creation is already there. He is not the creator. Somebody created and and you cannot say there is outside. Because outside and inside are the concept only with reference to space. It's spatial concept. And to say him outside, there has to be creation again. And somebody put him outside. Logically, and what our Shastra said, only one possibility is there. Lord is the creation. Please understand. He is neither inside nor outside. Some of the religions conveniently put the Ishvara up in the sky. And they have conveniently found a place called heaven. Sitting over there, he created the world. But then heaven itself is a creation. Health itself is a creation. Even the space is creation. Our vision, Vedic vision of the creation is Atasmad va etasmad atmanah akasha sambhuta akashad vayu. Time is creation. So, and the Shastra talks, when there is a pralaya, time and space is also dissolved. They get back into seed form. And at the time of creation, Ishvara manifests those time and that space. So only possibility that is left is neither inside nor outside. Lord is creation. That means the creation is non-separate from Ishvara. When you say Lord is creation, it is like saying gold is bangle, gold is chain, gold is ring, gold is earring, gold is nose ring. That means what? Chain or bangle or ring or nose ring, they are non-separate from the gold. Now, so when I say he himself manifests as a creation, that means creation is non-separate from the Ishvara. Therefore, you can worship Ishvara in any given form. Because everything is he is non-separate from it. And every form is his form. Therefore, there is a beautiful sloka. Tava tattvam na janami ki dishoshi maheshwar. Oh Bhagavan, I don't know how you are. Yadrushosi Mahadeva. Whatever you may be. Namo Namah. My limited intellect cannot comprehend you, and you being what you are, whatever you may be, I am just surrendering to. So, since all the forms are his forms, you can worship him in any which way. Therefore, our Vedic view of Ishvara is all pervasive. If you place him in some heaven, sitting somewhere, that Ishvara cannot be all pervasive. Why it is all pervasive? Like all the golden ornaments not being separate from gold, gold is all pervasive with reference to all the ornaments. So with reference to the entire creation, Ishvara is all pervasive in any which form you can worship, and therefore we have all the forms that is okay for us, for a Hindu, common Hindu, to worship Ishvara. Here, just to understand The creation, since it consists of innumerable of things and forces, it is divided into 8 forms. It's just a model. Ashtamurti. Ishvara manifest in 8-fold way. It's a model. What are the 8-fold? If you look at the objects and the beings, everything is made up of these Panch Mahabhutas, 5 elements we call it. Space, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, fire, water and earth. So all the objects that you perceive in this world are non-separate from these Pancha Mahabhutas. Therefore, there is a word in Sanskrit, Pancha Bhautikam Jagat. This world is comprising of, made up of Pancha Mahabhutas. But then you see here 2 other forces outside this Mother Earth, which the self-illuminating object called suns and the stars. That means Surya is a symbol of self-illuminating objects, and the moon is a symbol of that reflected light. So Pancha Mahabhutas plus sun and the moon, and lastly the individual, the jiva, the conscious being, who the experiencer, the karta bhokta, the subject is the 8th form. Therefore, Ashtamurti Bhrut, Isha Pujanam, okay? The Ashtamurti Bhrut means the puja of the Lord of 8 forms. Ashtamurti Bhrut Pujanam. Worship. How can you worship Ishvara in this form, 8-fold form, when you have Jagat Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam? Means what? Sevanam. Sevanam means serving. Jagat Sevanam, serving the world with Ishadhi, with a attitude, with a bhava that this is non-separate from Ishvara. Then when you look at the world as a non-separate from Ishvara, which Ishvara? Ashtamurti. I serve all fellow jivas, conscious beings. The subject, when I say subject, it involves, it doesn't mean only the human beings, beginning from ant and flies and mosquitoes and all bugs and then birds and the whole plant kingdom, whole animal kingdom, whole aquatic animal kingdom, aquatic botany, everything is nothing but manifestation of Ishvara. Any which way I can worship. 2 points, please understand. Bringing home this point, in India, there are temples for Panch Mahabhutas. It's a convention. When you say Ishvara Puja, then generally it means Shiva Puja. So there are 8 lingas, 5 lingas. There are 5 most popular temples, Shivalingas, where Lord Ishvara is worshipped as 5 elements. One of the most famous is Chidambaram. In Tamil Nadu, there is a temple of Chidambaram. When you go there is a black curtain. And after some time, the priest will open the curtain and do Karpur Arati from outside. And inside, unlike the North Indian temples, in the south there are no tube lights and electricity inside the temple. There are only this light of the fire, the wick of the lamp. And to save oil, the priest shortened the wick. It is all dark. And they do arati. You don't see any form. You don't know which Ishvara is worshipping. And they say it is Chidambaram Rahasya. The very word Chidambaram. Chit eva ambaram yasya sa. Chit means consciousness is ambaram, vastram. Or chit means akash. Akasha is ambaram, vastram. Or akasha is his embodiment. Their Ishvara is worshipped as space, akash, Chidambaram. You just see a golden mala that of golden bilva patras, huge mala, very heavy, lot of gold, but then nothing else you see. So the formless Ishvara, or the space it is worshipped, the Vayu Rupa Ishvara. You go to Kalahasti near Tirupati Balaji. The Tirupati Balaji nearby, there is a temple called Kalahasti. I've been there. When there is a Rahu Ketu problem, people go there and worship all over India. The best temple to get rid of those issues. There are so many lamps that are lighted around, in and around the Garbhagriha. It is all deep. I have literally experienced this. I was perspiring, almost suffocating, because the crowd was there and there was no wind, not even the exhaust. But the one wick at the center kept flickering. The flickering of the wick, which is there under the Lingam, implies the presence of Vayu. There is no window inside, but that only one wick flickers. So Kalahasti, Bhagavan is worshipped as Vayu Devata. In Tiruvannamalai, where Ramana Maharshi grew up, there is Agni Lingam. Lord is worshipped as fire. There is a place called Jambukeshwara in Andhra Pradesh, where the Lord is worshipped as water, Jalam, and the Kanchi Lingam is worshipped as Prithvi Lingam. So Pancha Mahabhuta Rupena Ishvara Sevyate Pujya. It is worshipped. Since he is the conscious being, the Jiva, so we have worship of Jiva also. Kanyaka Puja, Kumarika Pujas, they do. And they look at the Ishvara or Devi as a Kanyaka. Even when you start a temple, there is a Kanya Puja. Patotsav, if some of you were there, you remember those Ashtakanyakas were called and worship was done. As a Jiva, it is worshipped, and the sun and moon are certainly worshipped. Ashtamurti Brut Deva Puja. Ishvara is worshipped in 8 forms. One more point. Please understand this. With reference to this body, I as an individual is all pervasive. And his or her he or she can connect or contact any part of my body. The worship goes to me. Respect goes to me. That's why I find some people touch my toes. I've come across people. When I go to them, they will wash to express their respect towards me. One can connect to me in any which way. I've seen people offering their respect by just washing my toe of the foot. Some of them wash the right foot. Some wash the whole feet. Some I think you lost me again. Am I right?
We can hear you. Your picture is frozen, but we can hear you, Swamiji.
Go ahead with hearing. Okay. I mean, even if by just washing my right foot toe, some give me pada prakshalanam, all the feet they wash. Typical Saurashtra villagers, they give massage, they press the leg, expressing their reference. Some may offer me a garland in my neck, some may give me a bouquet of flowers, and some may just give me a flower. Some may do chandanam here. Some of them put flowers on my head. Whatever is done, whichever limb that is connected, they are expressing their respect to me, their love to me, their reverence to me. I am the one that is worshipped. Similarly, whatever form you worship, it ultimately goes to Ishvara. Because he is the creation. The creation non-separate from him. So we Hindus worship ocean also. We worship rivers also. We worship animals, cows and buffaloes and goats and rats also and snakes also. We worship trees also. We worship Namaste Vayo, Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi, etc. Because Ashtamurti Bhrut Deva Puja. He being everything, you cannot say my from Ishvara, like all these limbs are non-separate from me as an individual. Any worship to any given limb is a worship to me. It's like that. Worshipping anything in the creation is a worship to Ishvara. And transformation of this attitude in my day-to-day interaction with the world is Jagate Ishadi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Brut Deva Puja. Nothing is away from Ishvara. You cannot form. And since creation is non-separate, please understand these two sentences. Since nothing is away from Ishvara, cannot exclude any form, and since creation is not separate from Ishvara, we worship him in form. I hope this clear. I clarified this with example. Since none of the limbs of my except they are not, body is not away from an individual, since it is non-separate, therefore cannot exclude any part and blame Ishvara. We can worship him in any form. So there is a prayer. Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya